The latest chapter of Boruto has once again brought to light a concept previously mentioned a few times in the pre-time skip Boruto manga. This concept is that Boruto and Kawaki can sense each other likely because they are Ōtsutskis, even though they can erase their chakra signature. I have found evidence suggesting it's most likely not because of the karma, but rather the other way around. There seems to be an unknown aspect about the Ōtsutsuki, possibly some sort of second energy source, that makes the karma of two people interact the way it does with Boruto and Kawaki. Kishimoto might have cleverly used the karma resonance as a distraction to conceal the truth about the so-called God race. Let's talk about it. Despite the Ōtsutsuki's ability to erase their chakra footprints, which Konoha uses to detect people in sight, Ōtsutskis can sense each other. If someone has a chakra signature that isn't registered, Konoha will be alerted upon their entry into the village. Similarly, people can sense the chakra of certain individual in a specific area if they can't erase it. Yet Boruto can't hide his presence from Kawaki and the other way around. They will always be aware of each other's proximity if they are close enough. The first notable instance of this connection between Boruto and Kawaki was when they met for the first time, and their karma began resonating. This suggests that this connection is a significant element in the Boruto series concerning the existence of Boruto and Kawaki as Ōtsutskis. Initially, it seemed entirely due to the karma, but as the story progresses, it becomes more apparent that this connection exists even when the karmas don't resonate. This hints at the possibility that the resonance is merely a side effect of a greater yet unknown connection. With time, we've come to know and understand what karma actually is. Now we know that karma is nothing special that makes an Ōtsutsuki different from other Ōtsutskis. Essentially, it's simply the source of the Ōtsutsuki powers before the Ōtsutskification completed, or rather, the source of the Ōtsutskification itself. Pretty useless for Ōtsutskis, but in the case of Kawaki and Boruto, it's their source of power, due to their very unique situation in which non-Ōtsutskis became Ōtsutskis by getting rid of their parasite, so to speak. Or as Amado puts it, it's the door to the abilities of the Ōtsutsuki race, which they have now become a part of. So it's more like Momoshiki is resonating with Ishiki rather than Boruto's karma with Kawaki's. But despite the fact that both Boruto and Kawaki have completed their Ōtsutskification and with that are full-fledged Ōtsutskis, capable of being sacrificed to the Ten Tails, their unique case allows them to draw the full potential of their Ōtsutskification from the karma seal through their body. Hence, the resonance can indeed be interpreted as an Ōtsutsuki aspect coming from the Ōtsutskification and not so much from the karma itself. This means that whatever happened between Boruto and Kawaki when their karma resonated could likely happen between two normal Ōtsutskis without the karma. For example, between Momoshiki and Kinshiki, or as mentioned, Momoshiki and Ishiki. Maybe it's so normal among Ōtsutskis that they don't talk about it. But in the case of Boruto and Kawaki, it's focused on because it's unusual for humans. So in the case of Boruto and Kawaki, it could be that it was simply expressed through the karma seal but not exclusively. Ever since Boruto and Kawaki have finished their transformation into full-fledged Ōtsutskis, the karma resonance no longer happens the way it did before, or rather not as frequently anymore than when neither of them was able to control it with free will. This is once again an indication that when the transformation wasn't that far progressed, both of them drew their power from that seal, and with that, all the other aspects. And now that their body are fully transformed, it simply expresses itself without a seal. Instead of a visible resonance, they can feel each other without the karma activating. This aspect became increasingly evident from the moment Kawaki decided to sneak out while under house arrest and chakra surveillance. He created a shadow clone and erased his chakra signature, leaving some of his chakra in the clone. This chakra was used to create the clone. Upon meeting the clone, Boruto immediately noticed something strange about it because it didn't have the normal feeling that Kawaki has. Any other human wouldn't be able to differentiate in this case, but Boruto can. Maybe it's some sort of shinjutsu. In any case, this implies that indeed there is something about the Ōtsutskis that they have at every given moment, allowing other Ōtsutskis to feel that in the form of presence. Kawaki only cloned his appearance and chakra, not the essence itself. This helped Boruto to quickly focus on his senses and with that, feel the real Kawaki. However, there was no karma resonance whatsoever. If something had happened with the karma, we would have seen it because it always either pained them or was slightly activated when the resonance happened. This was the first time this occurred without the karma, and since then it frequently appeared in the series with increasing focus until the new chapter, where it was clearly highlighted in multiple dialogues, mentioned by multiple people, Boruto, Kawaki, and Mitsuki. So it looks like the karma resonance is likely happening because Boruto and Kawaki can sense each other, not the other way around. This is why it was mentioned in regard to why Boruto can feel Kawaki. It can either be because of the karma resonance, which is probably a red herring meant to distract from something that will later be revealed, or because they are simply Ōtsutskis, and I believe the latter makes much more sense, unless it's something unique only to Boruto and Kawaki, or unique to something both share. More to that in a moment. All this could imply that they might use a power beyond chakra, similar to how Shinjutsu is something normal humans can't use, and they use chakra to replicate fragments of Shinjutsu. Maybe Ōtsutskis also have something that is like chakra, but unique only to them. Ōtsutskis use chakra to evolve, but they can use Shinjutsu without chakra manipulation. So what is their source of power? Just like humans are maybe born with chakra, so maybe Ōtsutskis are born with something beyond chakra, like God chakra or something like that. Or maybe there really is something special about them. This might mean that in Boruto's case, it likely has something to do with his Jogan, and with that, the godly power, and Kawaki's karma, which points at Amado and the possibility that he might be trying to use Kawaki to revive Shibai. Since Shibai is the only known Ōtsutsuki god, and since we know that Jogan is a power coming from the god dimension, it could be that Boruto for some reason possesses Shibai's Jogan, just as Nagato received the Rinnegan from Madara through someone else with the help of Obito and Zetsu, just like Shibai might have given his Jogan to Boruto to have a presence in the mortal dimension with the help of Amado. This implies that Boruto is being used like Nagato was to achieve a larger goal. Madara's goal was to return, and so this could be the case for Shibai. In that case, we could assume that the reason why they can feel each other is because they literally have the same aspect, that is, the same connection through Shibai. One would have to question whether this would work with other people who have aspects of Shibai, such as the cyborgs and possibly the Shinjus. But what this really means is that since Shibai is a god, maybe there is indeed some sort of godly chakra, or as mentioned, it's something all Ōtsutskis have but simply haven't used yet. Perhaps the mix between human experience and the physical capabilities of an Ōtsutsuki even creates a combination that goes beyond what Ōtsutskis can do. So if this is true, then the biggest question will be whether it's something that can be used beyond simple sense, that is, if it's some sort of godly chakra, could they use it for abilities? It's certainly possible because there's the concept of Shinjutsu, which is literally the god jutsus translated, just like the Shinju is translated as the god tree, and ninjutsu is an attempt to replicate Shinjutsu in a less godly way. We also know that god trees can absorb things like life energy, knowledge, and all that, and then turn it into chakra. So chakra seems to be an energy that is created out of certain sources. This aspect hasn't really been fully explained yet. It could be that knowledge sticks to chakra, or that chakra is in fact created inside the chakra fruit, and what the tree absorbs is something different. Maybe it's even the aspect that Boruto and Kawaki can sense without chakra, something that is turned into chakra once they are absorbed by the god tree, a pre-chakra state or something like that. But what it also means is that if you can turn energy into chakra, and chakra into something else, for example jutsus, then maybe there's really something beyond chakra. I mean, what is it that makes an Ōtsutsuki turn into a god? We don't know, but we know they need chakra for that. And if they have consumed enough chakra fruits, they eventually ascend to a higher plane of existence, the fourth dimension, the place where gods reside, where the Jogan comes from. This alone implies that there's some sort of power in Boruto separate from what humans can sense, and yet there's something that both Boruto and Kawaki, despite being three-dimensional beings, can feel. Maybe there's a connection, so maybe they are already halfway through their ascension to godhood. The only problem I have is that this would mean that Boruto and Kawaki weren't just made into Ōtsutskis but possibly even half gods, capable of sensing the 4th dimension. With that, their power level compared to the rest of the cast would go beyond any reasonable comparison. Sarada would totally be left behind, and Naruto and Sasuke would look like jokes compared to Boruto and Kawaki. Sure, that level is certainly necessary to compete against gods, especially if the main villain will actually happen to be Shibai, or even stronger than him. Obviously, they need godly powers. 2 half gods make a whole god, but then they also need a solution for how Sarada can at least survive. Nonetheless, I definitely think it's no coincidence that this aspect is shown so many times and strongly developed now in the new chapter. So what do you think of this Boruto theory? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video then please leave a like. If you want to see more Boruto content, then subscribe to this channel with the notification bell activated for more videos, weekly Boruto content, theories, explanations, chapter reviews and more. Thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.